I'm so happy to announce my new album, Happy Together, when my orchestra and I were finally able to get together again.
For over 5 decades, André Rieu has mesmerized audiences as the king of waltz, turning classical music into a grand celebration. As the visionary behind the Johann Strauss Orchestra, he created timeless experiences that resonated across generations. But behind the scenes, André's health battles and personal struggles paint a different picture. How did his journey from stardom to health challenges unfold? What does his son's emotional goodbye reveal about the family's fight in the face of tragedy? This is the untold story of a legend facing his greatest test. Recently, fans' worst fears were confirmed when André Rieu's son, Pierre, shared deeply emotional news about his father's condition. After a sudden series of show cancellations and increasing concerns from devoted fans, the truth emerged. André Rieu is once again facing a serious health scare. Rieu's health struggles aren't new. In 2010, after years of relentless touring without taking a single sick day, he suffered a dramatic wake-up call. One night during a vacation in Belgium, he was jolted awake at 3 a.m. by a terrifying wave of dizziness, the room spinning violently around him. At first, he didn't understand what was happening. By morning, he felt broken and disoriented. At the time, Rieu was juggling multiple high-stress commitments, finalizing a DVD release, cramming Spanish lessons for an upcoming Mexican tour, and enduring brutal heat. This non-stop lifestyle finally took its toll. Doctors diagnosed him with a vestibular nerve infection, an inner ear disorder that affects balance and coordination. It was a shocking revelation for someone who once believed that mental strength and joy could protect him from illness. The illness forced Rieu to cancel entire tours in the UK and Australia, a devastating blow, not just for his fans, but for Rieu himself. Carrying the weight of responsibility for his entire orchestra and crew, the idea of stepping back, even temporarily, was unimaginable. Yet after undergoing tests to rule out more serious issues like a brain tumor, he had no choice but to rest. During his recovery, Rieu received heartfelt support from fans, including one from Australia, who sent him a list of exercises to improve balance. He followed them religiously, walking in figure eights, doing eye movements, and standing on one leg with his eyes closed. Miraculously, they worked. Within 3 months, he was feeling like himself again. But something had changed. He reevaluated his priorities and began trimming away anything that didn't bring him joy. Administrative duties, business events, and academic talks, all were pushed aside so he could focus on what he truly loved: music. But even with these changes, Rieu's condition carried a constant risk of relapse. Experts warned that vestibular infections could return, especially under stress. And now, years later, those fears seem to have come true. Rieu had returned to Mexico for the first time in 6 years, a triumphant homecoming for fans who had waited eagerly for his return. The energy was electric. The first 2 shows were wildly successful. But then, disaster struck. Less than 24 hours after his second performance, André suddenly fell ill. The news devastated fans. His son Pierre revealed that a powerful flu had taken hold, causing high fever and total exhaustion. The rest of the tour was immediately canceled. Pierre explained that the long flight, drastic time difference, and the high altitude of Mexico City, over 2,000 meters above sea level, had overwhelmed his father. With just 1 day to rest before the concert, his body simply couldn't recover in time. What began as minor discomfort quickly escalated. There was no choice but to fly him back home to Maastricht, Netherlands, as soon as possible. For fans, it was heartbreaking. Many had waited years for the chance to see him live, and thousands had traveled great distances to attend. The crew was equally devastated. Pierre admitted that everyone had been holding their breath, afraid something like this might happen. And when it finally did, the sense of loss was overwhelming. André remained ill for several days, barely able to function. Though he eventually began to recover, it took almost a full week before he felt like himself again. For a man who had once believed he could perform at full speed until the grave, this scare was a powerful warning that his body could no longer keep up. At 74 years old, André himself acknowledged the harsh truth. He's not 30 anymore. The grueling pace of global tours, especially in distant locations like Australia and Latin America, is becoming unsustainable. Backstage, even after a successful concert, he had quietly told his wife that he wasn't sure if he could keep doing tours like this. His body had spoken, loudly, and it was time to listen. And Rieu wasn't the only one affected. The high altitude had a noticeable impact on his team as well. Donna Alberti, one of his lead singers, reported nosebleeds and exhaustion during rehearsals. She even had to pause during a performance just to drink water and catch her breath. Another performer, Emma, went from singing to tens of thousands of fans one night to facing tour cancellation the next morning. The disappointment was universal. The incident left behind more than just physical strain. Nearly 40,000 fans had to be let down. A team of 125 crew members faced last-minute travel changes, lost merchandise revenue, and major logistical chaos. To make matters worse, the group wasn't even insured for this kind of disruption. It was a financial and emotional blow, one that they may not fully recover from. Still, Pierre commended his father for having the courage to stop. Continuing would have been reckless and potentially fatal. The priority, he said, had to be André's health. While a return to Mexico might happen in the future, it won't be before 2025, if at all. Sadly, this isn't the first time Rieu has had to cancel performances under tragic circumstances. In 2016, fans panicked when several concerts were suddenly postponed. Rumors flew about a possible health relapse, but it was later revealed that the death of a close orchestra member had left Rieu too emotionally shattered to continue. Though his own health wasn't in danger then, the grief had taken its toll. Most recently, a concert in Nottingham, UK, was postponed following a heart attack suffered by a member of the Johann Strauss Orchestra just hours before showtime. The musician remains in critical condition. Though Rieu himself wasn't physically affected, fans immediately feared the emotional stress could trigger another episode for the aging maestro. After all, this orchestra isn't just a group of colleagues to him, they are family. Through it all, André Rieu has remained a beacon of grace and humility. He once said, "Music has a healing power," and for countless fans, his concerts have brought exactly that. But now, as he battles new health challenges and rethinks the road ahead, the healing must begin with himself. Rieu has returned to his home in Maastricht, where he lives with his wife, Marjorie. The focus now is recovery, reflection, and rest. He may not talk much about his struggles. That task often falls to Pierre. But the message is clear. The days of high-speed tours across the globe may be over. For André Rieu, this may not be the end of the music, but it is certainly a slowing of the tempo. And though it hurts to see him step back, his legacy of joy, elegance, and waltzing wonder will forever echo through concert halls around the world. If you found this story moving, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with others who would appreciate it. Stay tuned for more updates and insights on the lives of your favorite icons.